There's a lot of science and people involved when it comes to protecting an endangered plant species. This includes collecting the right seeds, understanding the plants, and growing new ones carefully. At the Atlantic Forestry Center in Fredericton, New Brunswick, scientist Martin Williams is applying these methods to protect Furbish's Lousewort, a rare endangered plant found only in New Brunswick and Maine. His work, in collaboration with many partners and stakeholders, is helping lay the groundwork for restoring endangered species before it's too late.
My name is Martin Williams. I'm a forest genomics research scientist specialized in molecular biology. Some of the species that we're working on are endangered species like butternut, but we also work on a endemic species called Furbish's Lousewort.
Furbish's Lousewort is really a rare perennial plant. It's found only in New Brunswick and in the state of Maine along the Willistook River, which is the St. John River in New Brunswick.
One of the components of our research happens in this lab. This is where the genomics work happens, where we extract DNA so we can study Furbish's Lousewort at the molecular level. And then the ex situ part happens in other parts of the lab, in the greenhouse, as well as in the field bank, but also in the natural critical habitat on the St. John River. Initially, we collected some seed sources from the natural habitat, collect seed from those populations, bring them here, and we use those seed to produce plants in a greenhouse. Once we collect the seed, we bring them in this lab, clean them, making sure that we have as high viability as we can. And these are what the seeds look like. We started from seed in the main building for about 4 weeks. After that, they were moved into the greenhouse in more controlled settings. And after 10 weeks, we moved them outside. This is where they'll stay for the rest of the summer. So we have 1-year-old plants that are seen in these bigger pots. So you can see the flowering scape on some of these specimens. This is this year's crop where we've worked in trying to improve our propagation methods. The experiment is all about pairing them with a host, which is showy thick trefoil here, and without a host. And what we're seeing already, you can see a lot more growth whenever they're attached to the showy thick trefoil, and less growth for specimens that do not have a host to pair up with. They survive whether they have a host or not. Things we don't know is that will it impact flowering and production of seed, which is a key important point for what we're trying to do. So welcome to the field bank for Furbish's Lousewort at the Acada Research Forest. So in this field bank, we now have individuals from 3 different New Brunswick populations, but also 2 from Maine. And this is a secure space where the plants can grow and can act like a seed orchard where they're going to be producing seed, and we're going to be using these seeds in the future for restoration purposes on the Willistook Way. So Furbish's Lousewort is a perennial herb. This is just a 1-year-old plant, and it started to produce what's called a scape. Later in July and early August, what we'll see is this inflorescence will start to elongate and produce yellowish flowers, which will then, after pollination, be producing capsules that will be full of seed. And so those seed sources is what we'll be collecting and producing more plants for restoration on the river. What we've done here is generated plants, so they're greenhouse grown from seed sources that were collected in natural habitats. From these plants, we've outplanted those here in a secure environment. And what we're following here is, and we hope that these plants will be producing seed sources for restoration. And what we're noticing is that they're producing seed faster in the gardens, probably because being greenhouse grown have been fertilized and are already flowering after 1 year, which is something that's uncommon on the river. We don't really know about the life cycle of the plant. We don't know if they live for 10 years, if they live for 15 or less. We don't know if they produce seed every year. This is one way to actually have a secure space to study that and look at their productivity. I think the methods that are developed here and the strategies that are taken, like seed sourcing, knowing the genetics of what you're working with, propagation, these are all approaches that go into making a decision to be a good environmental steward. So this is an endemic species. It's only in New Brunswick and Maine. If we have the tools to try to make a difference, let's make a difference, right? It's a little bit of a canary in the coal mine as well, right? There's changes on the river system, and we're seeing it with Furbishes being impacted quite heavily by it. The question then becomes, can we do something about it? Maybe in the end, we won't be able to be successful in what we're doing, but I think we should at least try.
Martin is far from being the only scientist conducting research in the Acadia forest region. Click on this video to see how our experts are looking at the effects of warming and drought on several tree species. Make sure you do all the YouTube things, like and subscribe, and keep an eye out for our next video.